for Pesach, I wanted to share with you 3 short ideas about the Seder. And even though Seder means order, we're going to start from the beginning, go to the end, and circle back to the middle. Before we begin the story of Magid, we do something funny in Halach Ma'anya. We invite all those who don't have a place at the Seder to join our families and to come into our homes. This is similar to what our forefathers did in Mitzrayim during the act of the Korban Pesach. In the Korban Pesach, we were instructed to take a lamb, and everyone could join into that family. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs of blessed memory once said, the only communal mitzvah whose locus is in the home is the Seder. Why is it that the holiday that celebrates our becoming a nation, that celebrates our exodus, takes place at home? It's kind of counterintuitive. I would think that it should be somewhere more like a parade or like in shul. Why is it that we celebrate it in our homes? Let us think though back to how we became a nation. We were slaves without identity, and the first mitzvah that Hashem commanded us to do was the Korban Pesach. We were instructed to take a sela beit avot. Every person should take a lamb for his own household. Rav Hirsch in Parshat Bo explains that these individuals were gathered and asked to first settle into family life to prepare for becoming a nation. Rav Hirsch explains, he points out that joining family to family was how we actually formed a national identity. It was this family who sat in this row, and this family, and this family, and this family, and all of a sudden we were a nation, kind of similar to how we sit at Young Israel Century City, different rows, different families, different minyanim, and that is how we became a nation. Only after we were ready to do this this was the act that demonstrated our freedom. And this is a compelling explanation why building a nation begins in the home. And the Seder is a template for this. So the traditions that we carry on from our forefathers and from our grandparents and our parents, and the new traditions that we start with our own children, those are super important and indispensable on Seder night. We are trying to build something to become a nation. And first, we need to have solid relationships as families. In an age where things are so fast-paced and everything's on Instagram or TikTok, my kids make fun of me because I call it the Instagram, but everything is so fast-paced and short and such sound bites that we need to think about how to engage in a more engaging way, and how this is the night where we can talk about Jewish values for more than bite-sized messages. And then we can emerge and perhaps experience freedom. So we begin our Seder with a call to join the family, and we spend hours engaging and experiencing, and by the end of the Seder, we are full of hope, and we think about the future. We're half drunk, and we're singing Chana Haba B'Yerushalayim, and we're singing, and it's a much freer time of night. And yet, at the end of the Seder, we do something that sort of doesn't make sense. We invite Eliyahu into our homes. We have a kos shel Eliyahu, and we invite Eliyahu into our homes. Why is Eliyahu coming? And if he's coming, why is he coming at the end of the night? I would think he should come in the beginning. We invited guests in the beginning. Why not invite Eliyahu in the beginning? Where else does Eliyahu show up in history? Eliyahu shows up in moments of transition, in moments of transformation. Eliyahu shows up at Havdalah, and moments when we turn from Shabbos to Chol, moments of turning from sanctity to our mundane, at a bris, when we bring a baby into the covenant, and at a Seder, when we become a nation. All these moments of transformation are ripe with opportunity. They're ripe with an opportunity to become something more, to become something different. And yet we need hope to push us to the next stage. And as we know, we started off talking about families. Not every family gets along perfectly. And not every family has an easy time getting together, discussing things. And even the people and sometimes there's unspoken tensions and sometimes there's open disagreements. And here Eliyahu is here again, speaking about the ultimate geula of v'heshiv levavot al banim v'lev banim al avotam, that there will be an ultimate time when families will reconnect. And we have that hope, and we carry that hope at the end of the Seder. And perhaps we sometimes have hope for other things. It's not just about family. It could be about something deeply personal, or it could be about anything. But it is the night of hope. It is the night of transformation. So at the beginning of the Seder, we join our families. At the end of the Seder, we use this night to think about all the hope that we can have. And as we sit with families and think about becoming a nation, the night is about experiencing the freedom, experiencing the geula that God took us out of Egypt. Avdu Techerut, and the night has symbols. It's not just up the mountain. It's not just from Avdu to Cherut, but it's Avdud and Cherut and Avdud and Cherut, and symbols of slavery and symbols of freedom mixed throughout the night. Why is that? And I think that one way of looking at it is one of the main symbols of freedom is Haseba. We lean. We lean to the left to demonstrate our freedom. The Midrash explains on the pasuk in Beshalach that Vayasev Hashem, Vayasev Elokim et ha'am derech hamidbar, that Hashem took us out in a roundabout way. Perhaps the Midrash is alluding to the fact that freedom is never linear. It's 2 steps forward, it's 1 step back, or we struggle in one area and excel in another. It's important to know that freedom sometimes comes when we least expect it. And if we have this in mind, that we're experiencing freedom, and in some areas we'll have freedom and in some areas we won't, or it's harder for us, then perhaps that is another way to look at the Seder. So this year, we can focus on the aspect of our families and deepening the connections and engaging our family in meaningful conversation about Jewish values. We could think about what that means to be part of a nation. Or we can think about how freedom isn't linear and what aspect of freedom are you aspiring to in your own life. And if we look at the Seder as an opportunity to be transformative, I have a feeling that will come out of the night not so sad that we have 2 Sedarim in Galut, that we have extra opportunities to transform. And I want to wish each of you a Chag Kasher V'Sameach.